It's all fun and games till someone gets shot.
The era of pay-to-win DLC for the new fighting games has already begun. Rashid was released yesterday and players are already saying he is the #1 most deadliest characters in the game. But I'm not surprised that Street Fighter 6 is being so aggressive with their DLC. They're selling outfits that should be free. Those two decisions go hand in hand for a greedy company. But we have a lot of Tekken news, so let's forget all about Street Fighter 6 and just focus on the true game. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also leave a like on the video. You can follow me on Twitter. Remember, you can join the channel, click the link in the description and become a member. There's this leak for Evo that's been going round and round and round. This leak is most definitely fake. Harada has said it so many times that guest characters will happen after the roster is done. If you see anything with guest characters, it's automatically fake. We have another tweet from Harada. We do not plan to develop guest characters first. First of all, we are concerned on having more early rosters than other fighting game titles. Even if we think about guest characters, it will be released after. In the Tekken 8 beta, that concluded yesterday, you have a discovery in the New York stage to see a poster for martial law. I just think this is cool because this is definitely development for the character. We know he has a lot of troubles in the past, being poor, being homeless. Paul Phoenix also losing his dojo, but it seems like in Tekken 8 he has it back. Now, talking about the 5-minute, 10-minute, 15, 20-minute wait that you're experiencing searching for a match. What I did was I turned off crossplay because it's only PlayStation for week 1, so there's no reason to have it on. And once I turned off crossplay, I was able to find matches a little bit faster, but regardless, there still was that delay. Harada says, yeah, sorry about that bug. In another tweet, he goes a further in depth about someone's complaining about waiting 45 minutes. The same experience from Tekken 7. Harada says, the phenomenon of no matchmaking has been confirmed in all regions and is no obvious bug. Also, the CNT is limited to a very small number of people on PS5 only, and the majority of CNT players are registered in the region of Europe. I'm just happy that Harada is like acknowledging all of this stuff. We're not just complaining and yelling and then Harada's just like, oh, the feedback's great, everyone, keep on button mashing. He's actually responding to the real questions. Someone asked Harada for a original soundtrack. I did a poll about the music. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Some people say they don't like it. They don't like the techno. They wish they would go back to old games. There was a lot of that being said about everything.
Remember Tekken 1, Tekken 4, Tekken 5. People say, pound, fucking stupid, circle, fucking stupid, Tekken is done, blah, 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 blah. Fucking shit.
And Harada says, we are documenting all current requests and will consider them. Once again, responded to chip damage. The chip damage is insane. I don't agree with removing it entirely. I think chip damage is something special. If they can perfect it, bro, it can really be something special. But I like the concept of it. If they can perfect it, it could be really good. But Harada says, naturally, we will be tuning and adjusting many elements, not just chip damage. At this point, this is a bare bones network test, and this is something that I tried to emphasize as well. Like, yes, they're focusing on it, yes, they're taking that feedback, but they're really trying to figure out the network. Another person says, I'm glad fighting games are including different control schemes like Street Fighter 6 with modern controls and now Tekken 8 with special style. Really help newcomers get into the game and hopefully stick with it. Harada says, you can seamlessly switch between easy and normal controls during a match. The advantage of this control scheme is that it's not only useful for beginners but also advanced players learning the new characters. In other words, it's useful for all players. And I know there's a stigma around, I call it the box, Harada's box, but I know there's a stigma around Harada's box, but I really think in 1-2 years, everyone's going to be using it. You could already see some streamers and people playing it, or sometimes they'll just activate it, run up in your face just to see if you do something, and then they'll turn it off. That is like the mind games that's being played with this Harada's box. I think it's an excellent feature, not only for high level, but also for new people. Someone says, Harada, can you implement an option to avoid Wi-Fi players and false 4 or 5 bars in rank? Harada says, currently it's been found that there is a large quality of difference between Wi-Fi and wired matches. This will be improved a little more by product version, but the current statistic shows that North America has a particularly large number of Wi-Fi players. Matchmaking filter settings are currently under discussion and will will be considered. This is so strange. I don't know if I'm just like this much of a scrub to where I, one, don't see how bad the netcode is, but then two, the solution that we're just going to avoid Wi-Fi players is crazy to me. I remember at the start of season 4 back in like 2018 or 17, they said Wi-Fi users make up 50% of the player base. How are you going to ignore and separate half of the player base? It's crazy to me that Tekken fans have the mindset of, instead of fixing the problem, let's just ignore the problem and let's just not match them. I never seen it. I never seen it in the Call of Duty, in Street Fighter, in no other gaming community has I ever seen people be so against Wi-Fi. Responding to someone who was celebrating how fun Tekken 8 was or is, Harada says, we plan to increase the number of rosters for release. Other characters are currently in development. And I just think about how Eddie will use the heat system, how Yoshimitsu, how some stance characters, Feng Wei. I think the heat system is really something magical, and I can't wait to see what other characters can utilize it. Lei Shao Kahn, Dragunov, Steve Fox. It's going to be really fascinating, and I can't wait to see what characters comes next. Harada also says this is about single player and game modes and extra modes, playable modes, storylines. Harada responds to someone who's basically asking a question about all those things. He says, I've said before, Tekken has been a pioneer since the 90s in packaging not only competitive tools, but also single player playable modes, extra modes, and storylines. I can't mention the details now, but we'll be able to tell you more before the release date. I see Tekken players, they ask over and over and over again, will it be game modes? Will it be team battle? Will it be story? Will it be all of this stuff? And Harada has said probably like 10 or 15 times since Tekken 8 was announced, and even some before, that game modes is a core identity of Tekken. I know Tekken 7 kind of slipped up on game modes, they really didn't have anything, but that's just a fluke. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is kind of in the same ballpark, right? Tweets like this from Harada shows us that Tekken 8 is going to be different. Another tweet here from Harada, also responding to someone who's talking about single player and game modes once again. He says, yes, of course, important. We are happy to see the rise of modern esports, but before that, we are also much value the completeness and the value of the game as a packaged game. We think esports is very important, right? We're doing a heat system, high pacing, faster matches, so that's exciting. That's exciting to watch, exciting to play. It's just funner. But also, we do understand that some people find all of these other things fun, and we're taking that stuff just as much into consideration. Right now, where Tekken 8 is at with the marketing, it could kind of seem like they're ignoring it, but like Harada said, they're going to get to that. You know, we have a couple of months left before the game comes out, and I'm pretty sure we're going to start to hear more and more and more about that. You can see from Harada, he is not forgetting about it. It's just right now they're trying to make sure the game's fun, make sure it's balanced, make sure the netcode works. Those are the three pillars, and then you could build everything else on top of that.